Gone Guard. For 14 years, I have worked day and night trying to figure out how a man working the night shift just mysteriously disappeared with no trace in 1991. I had to uncover information that not only changed people's lives, but also may have ruined them. I've had to ask questions about relationships with people and if they were really who they said they were. I've had to make people question if they were actually doing their job correctly. I am a private investigator. I graduated from Penn State with a degree in criminal justice. I did not want to work for a corporation that made me follow the rules and play it safe when it comes to crimes like these. I wanted to do whatever it takes to help the victims and bring the criminals to justice. This is my happy place, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I had to check and recheck the alibis of people and what they were doing the night of the murder of Matt Damon. I've had to ask questions like, what time did you get home? What did you do that day? What time did you go to bed? Are you positive? Did anyone have any problems with you and your family? Who? What are their names? People barely know what they ate yesterday, so it's even harder to remember what happened 14 years ago. How was the day going when Matt came into work the day he disappeared?
It was a pretty normal day, actually. Matt came in on time as usual and was working pretty well when I left for the night.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do you know if he talked to anyone when he came into work? Maybe a colleague or a worker when he was passing by? This is George. He is the chief guard and in charge of everything that happened between the guards during their shifts. He's just telling me what was happening the day Matt disappeared.
I am sure he talked to Brad. Brad Pitt is another guard of mine that was working the shift right before Matt's. They are friends, I think. I am sure he would know more information about Matt than I would.
Do you remember what happened after your shift on the night Matt Damon disappeared?
Yes, Matt and I were trading shifts in the guard shack that night, and I stayed after my shift for a little bit to talk to him. We were good friends.
What did you two talk about? Were there any conflicts between you two? This is Brad Pitt. He has a sort of stern personality. I don't know why, but I get some type of chills and nervousness around him.
We were just having small talk, talking about our day and whatnot. My wife stopped by because she was worried for me after I did not come home after my shift.
Okay, but were there any conflicts between you two? He hesitated to answer. Mr. Pitt?
No. There were no conflicts between Matt and I.
Are you sure? You seemed pretty hesitant.
Yes, I am sure. We were friends.
Okay, what happened when your wife, Angela Pitt, came to the guard shack?
She came in and asked me what happened to me. I then replied that I was just talking with Matt and that I'll leave right now. So I left and went home after that.
Is Angela close with Matt, or are they friends? How is their relationship?
Why are you asking me about their relationship?
It's just a question.
They were acquaintances, and that's it. Don't ask me ever again.
Why?
I'm not going to repeat myself again. Do not ask me about my wife and Brad ever again.
I didn't want him to get even more mad at me than he already was, so I decided to drop the subject. But I want to know why this got him so angry. What happened? Was there something between Matt and Angelina? Why does he not want me to know about it? There were so many questions, I just had to ask the right person. I decided to bring another suspect in the case, Brad's wife, Angelina Pitt. She was kind and a little bit of a quiet person. I wanted to ask her all the questions Brad refused to answer. I want to know what happened between these two. Was I about to uncover the information that will solve the case? How are you doing, Mrs. Pitt?
I'm doing just fine, thank you.
May I ask you a couple questions about the disappearance and murder of Matt Damon?
Yes, of course. Anything to help solve the case.
What happened when Brad came home the night Matt disappeared?
It was pretty normal. He got home, we had dinner together, and then we went to bed. And then we woke up the next day.
And nothing bad or questioning happened between the time he got home and the time you woke up?
Well, something happened in the middle of the night that was sort of confusing to me, but I really didn't think much about it.
And what was that?
In the middle of the night, he got up and left the bed. I just assumed he went to the bathroom, which is normal for him. But then he didn't come back for another 2 to 3 hours. And when he did come back, he smelled like outside.
What do you mean by outside?
I mean, he smelled like he had been in the woods and in some grass.
Do you have any idea where he may have gone?
Well, when we both got up, I asked where he went. He told me that he couldn't sleep and he went for a walk. I believed him because he loves the outdoors. That's why I just didn't think much of it.
Okay, that's very interesting. How was your relationship with Matt Damon? She didn't respond. Angelina, can you answer the question? She looked at me with worry and guilt across her face. Are you all right? Can you answer?
Well, we didn't intend for Brad to find out. We loved each other, and we wanted to be happy together.
What are you talking about?
Matt and I were seeing each other for 3 months before he was murdered. A week before he died, Brad caught us together, and he was so angry at Matt, he threatened to kill him and beat him up. I didn't know what to do. I was so scared.
Do you think Brad would be capable of killing someone?
I wouldn't put it past him. He has a gun hidden in the dresser next to the side of his bed.
At this point, Angelina was crying and decided not to ask any more questions, at least to her. I brought Brad back into question him about where he was for those couple of hours during the middle of the night. If he was so angry that he threatened to kill someone, that is motive for murder, and his wife thinks that he could have murdered him, then maybe he could have. Where did you go in the middle of the night when Matt Damon was killed?
I went in my backyard and just sat out there for a little bit.
That's interesting, because your wife just told me that you said you went out for a walk. Where did you go for 3 hours, Mr. Pitt? No response came from Brad. Were you angry at Matt for being with Angelina? Did it make you want to kill him? Where were you?
I hated Matt. He stole my wife from me. Who does that?
What happened, Mr. Pitt?
I went to talk to Matt during his shift. He kept saying that he loved Angelina and that he should be with her. I was getting so angry at him, and I just wanted him to be quiet. So I knocked him out and threw him in my car. I drove for 30 minutes and parked somewhere in the woods. When I pulled Matt out of the car, he attacked me. I had to defend myself, and I shot him. I didn't know what to do, so I just ran. When I came home, I just went to bed and tried to forget about it.
I arrested Brad and brought him to the police department and told him that he was responsible for the murder of Matt Damon. 2 years later, Brad Pitt had his trial. Angelina was on the stand and told the jury and the attorneys everything that she told me. They used her information and the information I had against Brad Pitt. His confession was on tape and he was charged. He was charged with second-degree kidnapping and first-degree manslaughter. He was then sentenced to 60 years in prison without parole. I think the police could not figure out what happened because they did not ask the one person that could have solved the case all that long time ago. Angelina Pitt. She was the final piece to the puzzle, and without her, I could not have solved this case.